I was thinking about what an idea, what could be a sense of chizuk for the for us at this time going into Shabbat. I feel it has to be like a little bit more unique and something that really pertains. And I had the following point. So we had spoken about the idea that there's three messages effectively that this entire time period is really bringing us to, right? First of all, it's bringing us to the idea that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, because we see that, God was able to change the entire world in literally an instant. We all kind of woke up to a completely new reality. So that's the first thing that is interesting to note. The second thing we said is that where is this situation placing us? It's placing us with our families. It's placing us with those that are most important to us. Or I could say those that kind of have our back at times of need, right? No one's going to kick you out of your house, so to speak, right? So you're going back to your home. And the idea was that we had unfortunately lost that sense of family values when it came to, with what society is taking us and so on and so forth. The third thing is that this entire situation is effectively creating a situation where our materialism is downgraded. It's more simple. Everyone, no matter where you are and so on and so forth, everyone's kind of just happy with what they have, right? The idea is for us to kind of just be happy. We're happy with health right now. We're happy with being clean. We're happy with the fact that we have electricity and water and food and the basics. No one here is shopping for fancy Lamborghinis. So, excuse me, this entire predicament has done three things. Hashem runs the world, family values, and being happy with the simplicity, simple things that are at the core. So let's bring that over a little bit to Shabbat. Let's bring that over a little bit towards Shabbat. What does Shabbat represent? And why do we keep Shabbat? Let's go to the core of it. Why effectively do we keep Shabbat? So we keep Shabbat because God rested on the seventh day. It means he worked on 6 days. God worked on 6 days. And then on the seventh day, he rested. So the idea is like this. First of all, what does that mean? What does that mean that God rested on the seventh day? And what did he rest from effectively? Right? What did he rest from? Did he rest from hard work? That's kind of a beginning question. What does it mean? He rested. God doesn't work hard to begin with. So it can't be that he rested from hard work. He rested from creating. Okay, now I'll explain to you what I mean. The Gemara says when you want to put into perspective, what does it mean that God rested? It says that we put more effort when we blink our eyes. When you blink and you go like that, you actually have worked harder than God did when he created the entire world. Okay, you worked harder. So clearly when God rested on the seventh day, it wasn't from resting from hard work because he didn't work hard to begin with. So what did God rest from? He rested from creating. And that's effectively the essence of Shabbat. He rested from creating. What does that mean he rested from creating? He's created on 6 days. On the seventh day, God said, I'm not creating anymore. You could work on Shabbat, right? You could rearrange all your furniture in your house. You can walk from one city to the next, so on and so forth. You can do a lot of things that are difficult. You could sweat, but you can't create on Shabbat. That's the essence of what resting on Shabbat represents. So let's bring that towards how that pertains today to the messages that we've been talking about. So it pertains very, very much because, first of all, as we said, the essence of Shabbat is knowing that God created the world. Okay, that's why we rest on Shabbat. You're not resting because you just want to sleep. Otherwise, you could do that on Sunday or Monday. Why you resting from creating, aka not turning on a light? What does that mean? You don't turn on a light. You don't turn on a light. You don't light a fire. You don't cook because you're not creating something new. So you're not going to work that day because you're believing, you understand, and we believe that God runs the world. I can't go to work today, right? Because God runs the world. I won't turn on the light today because God runs the world. I'm testifying to the fact that he created the world and rested from creating. So Shabbat is like the core of our belief system, okay? And a person has to step into it, especially the Shabbat. And I'll take the liberty of saying that. I don't usually go that straightforward, but with this new bizarre situation that we're all in, I think we should take that liberty, every person to where they are, to elevating their level of Shabbat, whatever it might be. Okay, that's the first thing. Whether it be candlelighting, kiddush, hamotzi, prayer, staying off our phone, like they say, disconnect to connect, disconnect from your phone to connect a little bit more to the spirituality of what Shabbat represents. So that's the first point, which is very in line in our times right now. The second point that Shabbat represents, as we mentioned, what do you do when you're not working? You're home. Who are you home with? You're home with your core. You're home with your family. You're home with those that have your back at the toughest times, right? So Shabbat effectively is family time. Shabbat is a time we sit around the table, we eat, we ask, how was your week? What did it represent? What did you do? And so on and so forth. So again, the message of Shabbat is there to strengthen the second core of what this time period is doing. Okay? And the third part that Shabbat does for us, what else does Shabbat do? When you go into Shabbat, you go in with what you have. Whatever you cooked Erev Shabbat is what you go in with. However you dressed, whatever clothing you prepared Erev Shabbat is what you go in with. So it gets us to a point of being happy with the materialism that we have. Shabbat is the aspect of being happy with what you have. You look at your Shabbat table, you look at your house, you say, this is what God wants me to have right now. I'm happy with it. Right? It says in Pirkei Avot, Ezuhu Ashir, who is wealthy, doesn't give a number. Doesn't say he has to have this much in his bank account. It says Hasameach Bechelko, somebody that's happy with what he has. Because wealth is all relative. You might think you might have one level of wealth. Someone who has more money, you'll consider yourself not poor, but you're not wealthy because look at how much that guy has. So what is it? Ultimately, it's being happy with what we have. And that's the aspect of Shabbat. You go into Shabbat, you light the candles, you sit on the couch and you say, wow, look at what I have. Look at the bracha I have. I've been affiliated and working a lot with the Persian community, and when they talk about their children, they talk about beracha. They say, how many beracha do you have? How many children do you have? How many beracha do you have? You're happy with the family, the status, and so on and so forth. So, Be'ezrat Hashem, Go Sephardic, it's not just a thing we say Go Sephardic family. It's not just family in fun times and easy times and on a bonfire around, kumzits and so on and so forth. It's also in difficult times. We all need to learn how to stick together. So God willing, the Shabbat, Ki Yishmer Shabbat, Keli Shmereni, right? I will keep Shabbat, God will protect me. So Be'ezrat Hashem, it should stand this Shabbat for all of Am Yisrael. We light our candles a little bit early. We make Kiddush tonight. We shut off our phones, shut off our computers. Everyone takes a step forward with their personal Shabbat. So we should have a Shabbat Shalom. And I look forward to the class on Sunday. We'll see you, God willing. We'll talk more. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much.